Clap it up for Rafiq Shaheen. Give it up for Marty, folks! What is up, Gregory's? You guys look fantastic! Not too sure about you, but the rest of you look fantastic! Don't get me wrong, sir. You look great too. But I was watching Marty's face when he said my name. As soon as you heard Rafiq, you're like, oh shit! Biden's just letting anybody over the border. That's not fair. For those of you who don't know me, and why would you, my full name is Rafiq Samurai Shaheen, and I am the youngest out of 8 kids. I am a prime example of why you don't let your kids name your other fucking kids. So, don't get me wrong. I don't mind the fact that my middle name is Samurai. I just don't think that it suits me, you know? Like when you imagine somebody with the name Samurai, don't you imagine somebody who looks strong-willed and disciplined? I look like I played the narc in every 90s movie. Hey man, you got the drugs? I got the money if you got the drugs, right? It's fucked. It's weird. A little bit about me is I am 36. I am single with no dependents. I am dangerously close to becoming a scumbag. Maybe not like a full-on scumbag, but definitely scumbag adjacent, you know? Alright, like you look at me and you go like, he's not holding, right? But I definitely know somebody who could get you coke, right? Right? Like I'm the kind of person that you see at a distance and you're like, he's never paid a woman for sex before. But he's definitely Googled Asian massage parlor near me one too many times, right? You gotta be comfortable. You gotta know what you look like in life. I look like I played someone's lost Uber Eats driver, right? And not like a good one either. I look like I'm gonna come up to your door, sir, and be like, hey, just 2 things real quick. 1, that bag was already open when I picked it up. And 2, you seem cool. Daddy's a little high. Those wontons were amazing, right? Despite all that, I still think I'd make for a good dad. I really do, you know? I just know the kind of parent I would be, right? Just a lot of conversations that start off with, thank you for coming in again this week, Mr. Shaheen. I don't know how to tell you this, but your daughter has been going around saying the F word all day. Can you explain that? And it's like, give me like 1 second with her. Like, hey, sweetie, pumpkin, what the fuck, man? We talked about this shit. Right? I just know, you know, like I just know the kind of person I am, right? You know, like, and I think your 30s are really when you should start taking care of kids, you know? Do you have any parents in here tonight? No. So just 3, 4, 5 sad claps. All right, welcome to Florida. Everywhere else in the U.S., woo, kids! Florida's, I just know the kind of parent, you know? Here's the thing, right? Like, I'm too old and have too much disposable income not to have a little voice in the background of my life going, dude, I don't know if that's cool. You know what I mean? Like, I'm at the point that, like, a woman comes over to my place and they're looking around going, is that a fully functional Iron Man costume? It's like, is that a deal breaker? Because I spent a lot of money on that. It just happens, you know, like the instincts are like natural to me, you know, like the puns just come naturally, you know, that's what we call your mom. Alright, 3 people got it, good. I saw a kid, here's a good example of it. I saw a kid crying at the mall the other day, probably like somewhere like 3, 4, 5, right? I just saw him like bawling his eyes out, and I couldn't see his parents anywhere. And those instincts just hit me, So like I walked up to him and I was like, hey, buddy, shh, 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 shh. It'll be okay, shh. Don't cry. It gets worse. It gets so much worse, dude. Like, you've never come home to find your girlfriend making out with your best friend. Save those tears for when you're an adult and it matters. I'm trying, man. Yeah. What I said earlier tonight that I'm happy to see you guys, I mean that literally. Because I recently just got out of the ICU for a condition known as ocular bleeding. That is the scariest sentence in the English language. Well, maybe not the scariest sentence. It's probably right behind I'm pregnant and it's yours. Or alternatively, the condom broke. But it is a terrifying thing. Have you ever been to the hospital before, sir? No? Don't do it. No, like, if you're at that moment where it's like, hey man, do you want to go to the hospital? Just go, nah, don't take me. It is so expensive, right? I got the bill recently. I spent 3 days in the ICU. And as soon as I saw that hospital bill, I spent another 3 days in the ICU with a heart attack. Holy shit. $2,000 for a shot to keep me alive, right? And they gave me that shot once an hour, right? There was moments where the nurse was waking me up, giving me a shot, and my brain's going, well, that's another $2,000, right? It made me think, when is the insurance adjuster supposed to come in and go, sorry, it's totaled? You're gonna have to throw this one out and get you a new one, right? Thank you. Fucking crazy. I was in there because ever since I was a child, I suffered from a condition where I have an enlarged heart, right? Which that's a fun thing you can put on your Tinder profile, right? Big-hearted dude, care-oriented, 4 out of 5 doctors agree. Right? But now I gotta do all the healthy stuff, I gotta do all the healthy stuff. Part of it is part of it is because I'm overweight, right? I'm doing all the things to lose weight, They say if you want to lose weight, you should drink half of your body weight in fluid ounces of water every day. Just half of your body weight in fluid ounces. And I'm not sure about the rest of you, but I'm pretty certain in my case, that's just called drowning. Right? It's like, hey man, this will help you keep the weight off permanently, right? Doing all the things, I'm trying to eat healthier now. I'm eating all the organic foods. Anybody in here eating the organic foods? Just me and one lady, all right, cool. You can back me up on this. Isn't it way too expensive? Yes. Right? I have to move to Italy? I'm sorry, did you have a stroke? What? Organic food to Italy, right? It's so expensive. I was trying to buy some of that quinoa or quinoa or however the fuck it's pronounced the other day. I was looking at the price and I was like, excuse me, is this the price or the Scrabble word score, right? Like, how am I getting a triple word bonus at the self-checkout, you know what I mean? But I'm doing all the things, Like, you guys can clearly tell, like, I'm not the most athletic person. Like, let me give you an example, right? This morning, I woke up and drove to the gym. Decided I was tired, so I took a nap in my car outside the gym. Woke up and went, fuck this, and drove. Basically, I could be a starter for the Buccaneers. Right? What, should I have said the Jets? No, please. My favorite thing, I will say this, you know, and like, don't get it twisted. I could still beat the Cleveland Browns by myself. But my favorite thing about that joke is I might shit on the Jets and I might shit on the Cleveland Browns, but I have been doing that for close to 26 years of my life, and I have never once been right about something for 26 years in a row. I feel so powerful. I feel like a woman. It's right all the time. Yeah. Fucking nuts. I'm trying though. I will say this, if we're being completely honest with one another, and we've been having a good time so far. It's not just the health reasons why I'm trying to lose the weight. You know, like I said earlier, you know, single, 36, trying to get back into the dating pool. You know, not going great. I think it's the kind of women I date. You know, like I usually date high maintenance women. You know, do we have any high maintenance girls in here tonight? All right, so just a room full of liars. Got it. Oh no, not me. All right. I like high maintenance girls. I love the fact that you ladies put yourselves together. You know, I love all the oomph and the pump and the, you know, whole 9 yards. Right? But I'll admit, you know, high maintenance women don't really like guys like me. You know, high maintenance women usually date attractive guys. And I show up being funny. So, right? That's a lot like if you ordered a pizza and someone brought you Burger King. You go, all right, it'll do for now. You know what I mean? But I decided, right, you know, because it doesn't usually work out, that I would try to go in the opposite direction this year. So I decided I was only going to date homeless women. Let me tell you, easiest group of people to impress. Hey baby, you want some more wine that comes out of a bottle and not a box? How about some more of this electricity? Ah, shoot girl, don't worry, we got that good indoor plumbing, right? I'm doing it now. I will admit, it's been a weird year dating. I never know how to preface this, so I'll just jump right into it and say, I got to fuck a midget this year. Didn't know that was on my list of things to do. I guess it was on my short list, so here we are. It's very weird, because the first time you do it, your brain goes, we can't tell anybody that. And then the second time you do it, your brain goes, we have to tell everybody that. So for full disclosure, I have fucked 2 midgets this year. I can only say 2 because I recently found out the legal definition of a midget. Does anybody know that number? No? It's my favorite fun fact. It is 4'11" or shorter. Right? Yes! I love it for that exact reaction, right? Because 2 things. 1, it feels very arbitrary, doesn't it? It feels like something somebody made up to get back at their boss, right? Like someone was trying to leave early on a Friday and they got a knock on their door. Hey man, Greg says you can't leave until you give us a height ruling. Fuck. Greg is always riding my back, man. How tall is he, anyway? I don't know, you can reach the bottom cabinets in the break room, barely. That's gotta be what? Like 4'11", right? Fuck it, 4'11" it is, I'm out, right? The second thing is, every time you share that fun fact, somebody learns something new about themselves that night. There's always one person in the audience who's like, oh shit, I gotta park up front now? When it happens, you start asking yourself all sorts of questions you didn't know you wanted answers to, right? Like, how many times can you do this before it becomes a fetish you didn't know you had? I assume the answer is 3, right? Because the first time, it's just a thing that happened, right? But if you do it again, you're definitely dipping your toes back in the short end of the pool, you know? And if it happens a third time, we all agree, you just saw one on the street and you're like, ah, this one's mine, right? Like, you guys can laugh at that joke, they can't fight back, right? I imagine if you're a little person, getting picked up by a big person is the equivalent of if a big person got picked up by a bear. Right? Just a lot of moments like, ah, play dead! Maybe he'll go away. Weird. It is what it is. Yeah. I will say this, you know, I'm tired of dating in 2024 a little bit. All the digital dating stuff, you know. Doing all the apps and things now because people don't meet in person anymore, you know. Doing the Tinders and the Hinges and whatever that magazine that has the sex offenders at the front of the gas station is. Right? It's just so weird. You guys have the weirdest profiles out there, you know. I saw one the other night, right? It said this verbatim. There was a photo of a woman and her daughter. And it said, seeking a strong, sensitive, caring man, somebody that'll love me and my daughter like we deserve. Not bad so far, a bit much, but not bad. Then said, and I quote, P.S. No blacks, no Jews, please. What? Can we all agree you get to be lonely or racist? Not both. Maybe the next time you're at a Klan rally, look around the circle and be like, drinks, drinks, you know? You can't be sitting at home alone on a Friday night going like, oh, I'm so lonely. Get the fuck off me, Tyrone, you know? Fucking nuts. Oh, speaking of the Klan, I love this. Did you guys know the head of the Klan calls himself the Imperial Grand Wizard? And the dude directly underneath him calls himself the Dragon of the West? That's like a pad of paper and some dice away from playing Dungeons and Dragons, right? Like, in a weird way, it gives me like a bit of hope because it makes me think maybe they're not all small-minded bigots. Maybe it's a group of lonely, nerdy white kids out in the woods every weekend going, hey man, whatever happened, Jaquarius can never find out about this, right? Here's another dumb fun fact about the Klan. Did you know at the height of the Klan, they used to have entire cottage industries built around them, right? They used to hire people to build those giant wooden crosses that they would set alight, right? And I love that because of how dumb it is. Because you know there had to have been like one or two awkward meetings, right? Just a couple of moments where it's like, all right, y'all sit down. Y'all sit down. We're going to address the elephant in the room since Clem won't shut up about it. All right, we did in fact hire Jesus and his family this weekend to build the cross. But in our defense, Jesus is the best cross builder this side of the Mississippi, and he makes a damn good taco, so... I love our species. We're so weird, you know? We're the only species that went to the moon but can't figure out 10 items or less, you know? And it's been like that forever. Did you guys hear about those caves they found in France with like all the fertility statues in them? Okay, dude, this is the best thing of this week, right? So, like this past week, they found a bunch of Neolithic statues in France, right? And when they brought these fertility statues out, they're all these big, round, thick women, right? You know, big hips, big boobs, big stomach, whole 9 yards. Do you guys realize what that means? That means fat bottom girls literally make the rockin' world go round, right? Like, that means some caveman was sitting down, like in 30 million BC going, thawed down with the thickness, right? Like, all right, so just me? All right. Every woman in here is like, I do yoga too often to relate to that joke. If you guys take anything away from my set tonight, it's just all I ever want for people is for you guys to be happy, if we're being honest. You know, I want you guys to be happy, be cool with each other, embrace who you are. And I really think if we did that, it would make the world a better place. Don't you guys think so?
Yep.
You know, I really think that a lot of this stuff boils down to, you know, just learning to be comfortable with like who you are as a person. You know, and that's something I'm trying to embrace. Like, I get it, this is a silly person, right? Like, I have silly thoughts all the time. Like, I realize, you know, as a guy, we stress out too much about getting laid, gentlemen. We do, right? Every dude in here, as confident as he seems, is like 2 sentences away from freaking the fuck out about whether or not he's gonna get laid, right? But fellas, got some good news for you. Don't freak out. Because 99% of people do not want to suck your dick. And that's fine. Because that still leaves you with 1%. Do you guys realize how many people that is? Sir, do you realize how much 1% of the human population is? That's 750 million people willing to suck your dick. That's like 3 times the United States willing to go down on you. Now, to be fair, I didn't say it was all women, but it's a thought. Embrace those moments, right? I try to embrace those moments all the time. I try to learn about myself every day. You know, Marty was talking about the fact that I travel a lot for this job. I just recently came back from Tokyo, which is a 16-hour and 45-minute flight from here to Tokyo. And it taught me that I am a very empathetic person. Because I was stuck behind a crying child for 16 hours and 45 minutes. And I say it taught me empathy, right? Because around hour 8 of this kid crying non-stop, I just had the thought, you know, I think I know where Casey Anthony was coming from on this one. I said empathetic, not sympathetic, by a dictionary. You know, that trip taught me a lot, you know. It taught me that I'm also, you know, an optimist, and I'm not a quitter, right? Because while I was in Tokyo doing shows, I stopped by this club in Roppongi, which is this small little area. It was a club called Greenland, and they had all you could drink, sink or swim for about 1,000 yen, which is like $10 US. They started at 6 p.m. and ended at 6 a.m. I drank from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. because I'm not a quitter. And possibly an alcoholic. Right? But it taught me, right, I'm not a quitter. It also taught me that I'm an optimist because as I'm stumbling the fuck out of this club drunk as hell, I saw what was clearly a prostitute, right? There's something international about the uniform. I don't know what it is, but it's across cultures and borders, right? And I saw this woman and she was like beckoning me over and she was like, oh, come American, come, make banana cry. And I was like, how is that the only English you know? I responded with the only Japanese I know, which is EA, okay, which is Japanese for no. But I'm so drunk, she takes my arm, I pivot, walk into a wall, sit down hard, laugh, and then black out. And then woke up the next morning $200 poor. So either I was mugged, or I can check Asian women off my bucket list. And I'm choosing to check Asian women off my bucket list. You know, but you gotta learn about yourself. You gotta learn who you are as a person. You know, you gotta learn what your struggles are. You know, this is the reason why I love old people. Old people know what their struggles are. You ever ask an old person to change their, like, state of mind or anything about their life, right? It is the hardest decision you will ever get an old person to commit to. It's like, hey, granddad, you know you have lung cancer. Would you stop smoking a pack a day? Smoked it for 50 years, ain't quitting now, you faggot. It's like, one, we don't say either of those things anymore. And two, at least smoke menthols, right? But you gotta learn about yourself. You know, like, I know what my problems are. One of my biggest problems in life stems from the fact that I am biracial. If you guys don't really know what that means, basically that means my mom is blacker than a charcoal briquette, my dad is whiter than Wonder Bread, so I get to live my entire life like a Cinnamon Toast Crunch reject. You know, which is fine, but I admit, you know, problems arise from it. You know, like for example, constant problem I have, every time I tell somebody that, they will instantly start asking questions. Usually it's the same three, right? It's usually like, oh, so you're like half and half, right? So you're like an Oreo. Hey, you're a mulatto, right? And it's like, hey man, are you racist or hungry? Like, what are we doing? Like, I'm not a Starbucks cookie. Like, what? White women love asking me the question too. Every time, every show, there's like at least one white woman who will come up afterwards and it's like, hey, you know, black guys got the big, not the trait I got, right? Like, I'm not saying it's small, but it's not big. You know, all I'm saying is I'm not wearing a Magnum anytime soon, right? It's more like a 38 special, right? Like, the barrel's not as long, but it's just as thick, right? Like, alright, well, since you guys didn't like that joke, here comes the worst one. I don't give a shit, get paid either way. Speaking of getting paid, after the show, you know, don't just run out the door, stop by, say hello, you know. You guys got a great headliner coming up, but you know, stop by, say hello. I'm going to be selling these stickers after the show. Donations start at $3. You can pay more than that, but it's got to be at least $3. You know, it's just a little sticker. It says it's not a Magnum, it's a 38 special. All right. Fun fact for the audience, ladies and gentlemen, the circle is to size. So ladies, if you've ever wondered how big a 38 special is, buy a sticker. Fellas, if you've ever wanted to brag about being bigger than a 38 special, buy a sticker. I promise you guys, all the money goes to charity, or chastity, or whatever the stripper's name is. I believe in giving back to the community. But like I was saying, right? Learn who you are, learn what your problems are, be cool to one another. You know, I'll end on this. You know, one of the things I realized this past year, you know, about what my problem in life is I realized I can't date all the people I'd like to. You know, like I can't date black women because I'm never gonna be black enough, and I can't date white women because I'm never gonna be black enough. So.